Hi people, how you doing? Good. Okay guys, how you guys doing? Good day wherever you are, whatever the time is. So today I'm just going to be chit-chatting to you guys about my faith as a Christian, putting some little things in context and where I am currently, and then how the journey has been so far so good. So I'm just going to be gisting, and then yeah, I'd like to hear your faith journey as well, and then how you have gotten to where you are currently, and then how you're navigating it, how it has been, probably was it easy where you were at some point in, like, environment wise. Yeah, so for instance, myself right now, we've moved to the UK, so it's kind of different, sort of, even though this is supposed to be a okay just joking. Okay, so faith journey. I grew up my mom was a strong believer in Christ. Like, she just believed God. You know, there are some situations that happen in your life and you're still like, how does this person still love God? And I'm seeing in the midst of certain things that were happening in her life, she was still standing strong. You know, and I didn't really grow up with this, I don't know, like, I just saw her love God, you know, love God in the midst of everything, love God in good times, love God in bad times. You know, when the Bible says in all things give thanks to God, that was the life my mother lived, in all things kind of life. And sometimes you're feeling, are you not supposed to be angry? Is God not answering the way God is supposed to answer? But I saw my mom practically live loving God. So my mom, well, I met my mom in Ekwa. So it's evangelical church. Then it was evangelical church of West Africa. Then I think a couple of years it changed to evangelical church winning also. It's an evangelical church, or what you would call an Orthodox church. So that's the church I grew up in. So we stayed in Lagos. So we had this Ekwa Hausa, but mostly because we're more northerners living in Lagos, but so they speak a lot of English in the Hausa service though, but we still speak Hausa, sing Hausa songs. So it was really a nice time. I really enjoyed going to church, even though I was very young, but I really looked forward to going to church. I enjoyed going to church. So then we moved to Jos, and then yeah, we moved to Jos, Ekwa, Jos, yeah. So it was really a nice time. I learned a lot. So, but then I was not, you know, that kind of thing that you're not really sure if you go to church, so you call yourself a Christian. So that was probably it for me. I went to church, called myself a Christian. I enjoyed going to church. I was even in children's choir. We had very interesting times. We learned the guitar, we learned drums, even though because I later left, so I didn't keep learning, so I can't do anything, please. So, but yeah, that's how we were in our Sunday school church then, and we really had a very strong Sunday school. I like some of my lifelong friends were made there, yes, in Sunday school in Ekwa. So in Jos as at then. So later we then moved at some point. So I think that was the time, and then at the time we moved, I was going to secondary school. So at that point I was now beginning to enter another phase of my life, right? So I moved from Jos. We moved away from Jos. From Jos. Moved away from Jos. So I then went to secondary school. So my first experience when I went to secondary school is I went to, because again I like church, you know, I grew up in church, so I really loved going to church. So I went to church one day, and then they had a program, the FCS like thing. So we had a program. I went, my chukuchuku said, went to sit down in front of the church, and then these seniors now came, and then they asked me to stand up. And I'm like, I came early, why are you asking me to stand up? Yeah, I like justice like that. So I'm like, why are you asking me to stand up? And I felt terrible, like terrible. I can't remember if I stayed for the program, but I know, did I say I know? Yeah, but I'm certain I never went back to church there. Like, I never went back. Immediately I left, and then just so that I know that I was still going to church, I now joined YCS. So that's So that's the Catholic arm of the Catholic FCS, YCS, Young Catholic Students, I guess. Can't remember so much, yeah, but I joined YCS. So because I was not really grounded as a Catholic, I was still going to going for YCS. I started doing things, learning the rosary, but you know, it's just something I do in school and go back. I don't even think I told my mom I was in YCS. I can't even really remember. But at that point, I knew that I was not really connecting as I would have loved or thought. I didn't really know if I had any issues then on my own, but I knew I wasn't really connecting whatsoever. And I remember there was this time a friend, I don't know if I'll call her a friend, but someone, an acquaintance in school, then saw me one day. So I think they were going for, there was a program there, that was towards the end of our school years, and then there was a program in the FCS again. So this time I was going there, and then one lady, she now said, Jamila, because I will never even forget, it was on the road, and she was like, Jamila, you two are going to church. And I said, and I just said this, not that I meant it anyway, and I said she should not worry, I'll be waving her from heaven. Like, I just said it, and I was laughing. And looking back, you know, there's some things that happened you don't just forget. Like, I can remember me walking down and she was going up this way, and then we're talking about it and we all laughed. Now let me give you the context with which probably she was coming, or how I was as at that time. I'd rather go to the toilet. And I'm not joking about the toilet, because then they were forcing us to go to church, because you're either going for YCS, because mass is usually earlier, so they go for, I don't know if it's charismatic they call it afterwards, so it's more like where they preach, not just in like normal mass. So it's like where they preach to us about general, the way they would do it in the FCS. So you're either going to one of the two. And the toilets at that time at the school area, not the hostel area now, were terrible. But I can assure you, I and some of my friends would rather go there than be in church. Sincerely, no jokes, would rather go to that place, inhale bad smell, terrible smell, than go to church. And it's not that I'm looking at myself, I'm like, how bad did I think it was that was better for us? And really, that was it. We're always going to be chased to go out, you're chasing you to go to church and all that. So that's the context I was in at that time. So finished secondary school, I got admission to Nasarawa State University, 100 level. I met someone, and you know, these are things that I really, and that's why sometimes I always tell people, don't underlook the little things you do. You might think it's just, oh, I invited this person, oh, I did this, and it always stays with people. So I'll never forget, so Calista invited me to church. So Calista attended, I'm actually calling some names and giving you names of places just so you have a bit of context, because I actually like context, because nothing is just street jackets, you know. So Calista invited me to Winners Campus Fellowship. Yeah, I've made some wonderful friends there too, till today. Yeah, so I started to go to Winners Campus Fellowship. I liked it. I liked the way they were doing. I liked that they were always happy. They were always smiling. Like, I don't know, they danced in church, they did this, they did that. So it was really awesome. I enjoyed going to church then. And then I remember again, another thing I didn't tell you guys is that during my secondary school period, there was this thing I was doing to my mom. So when it's time to go to church, Jamila falls sick on Fridays. Yeah, literally, I literally fall sick on Friday. I don't mean I really fall sick, I'm pretending to be sick on Friday so that I don't fall sick on Saturday, so that it's not look like it's a Saturday. So the sickness starts on Friday, it metamorphoses to Saturday, and then on Sunday, when she's in a church bar. So that's where I get to. So I think the day my mother now found that, like, she just sat there like, okay, and what does that go me? She now said, Jamila, don't worry, it is God that heals people. We will go to that church. So that's another thing that was what I was doing at that time. So coming back to university, and then my mom obviously saw some changes. When I came back, I'm like, okay, so to church. I'm like, I'm excited to go to church. I'm happy to go to church. And then that was how I kind of started getting back my pre-secondary school relationship with Christ back. But you know, I knew that there's this time there to be calling altar call. Like every time I'm going out for altar call, every time I'm going out to altar call. But I remembered even after I think I now became, I don't know, an official in, yeah, really, I was serious with Christ at that point in my life. But you know, sometimes there are certain things that were happening in your life that you know, people might see you as this, but you know what you were doing, right? And I think the day I consciously, and I told God, we need to get this thing straight and right. It was only 24th of January 2010. 24th of January 2010. That was the year I was going to graduate from university. We went to one of our churches in Durumi then, a Living Faith Church in Durumi, and an altar call was made. And that day, I didn't think, people are looking, people are around me, because I just told myself, we need to do this with dedication properly so that we know. And don't forget, by this time I'd already been baptized like 3 years earlier. I think I got baptized 2018 or 2017. Yeah, so yes. So yeah. And then so after that, everything was going fine. I came to the UK for my master's, and then on the 29th of May, I'll never forget, I was in church that day. We were saying the Lord's, we were sharing the grace, because then church starts at 7, so it's 7 to 9. Yes, Living Faith Winners Chapel, Coventry. So church starts at 7, ends by 9. And so that particular day, I think that was when I was I was completing my internship in Birmingham. So one of the two. Then my dad had been sick actually. Then that night at 9 p.m. while I was sharing, surely goodness and mercy shall follow you all the days of your life, my dad was taking his last breath. 9 p.m. 9 p.m. So when I went back home, I'm still fired up for God. I still love God, right? Of course, I didn't know my dad had died that night. I found out my dad had died the next day, thanks to someone who felt, you need to tell her father is dead. So this was how the person called me and told me. He said, Jamila, how are you doing? I said, I'm fine. How are you doing? I said, fine. He said, how do you take bad news? Bad news is not. And I just said, as far as it's not death. That's what I said. I said, as far as it's not death, everything will be fine. And I believed what I said. As far as it's not death, everything will be fine. He said, you just lost your father. Hey. So this is 2023, right? Yes. So this happened 2013. Hey. So I called. So at this point, I'm still strong in faith. So my father died, yes. I called my mom. My mom is acting normal. I'm talking to I called my brother. My brother is talking normal. My sister was not at home at day. She was in school, so I didn't want to call my sister. I said, Mama, are you okay? Is everything okay? How's daddy? So I won't talk to daddy. God Shegun. Do it all acting normal. So I'm like, am I mad? This person that called and said daddy had died, like, what's going on? And I called my mom back. So the day after, eventually I asked my mom that, look at this person said daddy has died. Oh, because I was already crying now. Then my mom now admitted that, okay, yes, dad died and all that. And that's when I knew he died at 9 p.m. So that's why that 9 p.m. has not left my head, and what I was doing was at 9 p.m. And even the whole thing I did the whole of that day has not left my head. And then I asked her, and I said, did he like, because I've been praying for my father's salvation for as long as I can remember. And then I said, did he pray? Did he give his life to Christ? Because this was an ongoing prayer. Mom now said yes. That she now said, in fact, that very day, he asked again to be prayed for. So when she said he asked again to be prayed for, I'm like, okay, at least I won't see my daddy. But I know at least he's not going to hell. And yeah. So I continued in faith, and God bless my pastor then, Pastor Dami. God bless Brother Peter. God bless. Living Faith, Winners Chapel, Coventry, 2013. They were just awesome people. Like, they were really awesome people. You know, there's times, and so context, I'm not Yoruba, obviously, so they were nice to me. They paid, because as at then, yeah, they completed my, because again it was an emergency going home. My dad had sent me some money. In fact, the day I was told, the morning I was told he had died, I was shopping with the money he had sent to me a couple of days ago. Thank God I did not just pay for the shopping at that time when the call came. I was still searching. No, the church stood by me. They stood by me. And then afterwards, I went back to, and don't forget, I'm in pain. I'm crying. I'm saying, God, why? You could have done this. You could have done that. Why didn't you give my dad a little more time? I'm just barely 24. I have younger ones. My younger sister, my younger brother. Like, you know, you're just having these conversations in pain. But then I'll just encourage myself, oh, Sama. And I just keep telling myself those kind of things. And then I remember getting to Nigeria, having the burial. Faith still strong. Mommy is there. We're still believing in God. Things are not so great. Things are a little bit hard. But we're good. We thank God. Okay. I think a couple of months, my mom fell sick. And then